All right, so when Paul is rebuking the Pharisees for trying to put repentant Gentiles under the law, he's rebuking them for trying to put them under the sacrificial law, not the Ten Commandments. And this is why. When Israel received the Holy Covenant at Horeb, which is the Ten Commandments, they broke the Ten Commandments, they broke the covenant, and so the sacrificial law was added. The sacrificial law was never given to Gentiles because the Holy Covenant was not given to Gentiles. However, when Yeshua comes along and he refreshes the Holy Covenant and he allows it to be opened up to Gentiles, Ephesians 2:12, Paul tells you, remember when you were a Gentile, when you were without God, without the Messiah, without hope, aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenants of promise. Gentiles didn't receive the covenants of promise, so they couldn't have broken it to then receive the sacrificial law. That was only Israel. Okay? But when Yeshua comes along and he opens the covenant up to the Gentiles, praise Yah, now Gentiles can be grafted into Israel. Now Gentiles can keep the covenant and they become Israel. And then they can enter the kingdom of heaven. But what these Pharisees were doing, they were adding the burden to the Gentiles by putting them under the sacrificial law, which was the punishment that God had put on Israel because they broke the covenant. The Gentiles didn't break the covenant, so they didn't receive the sacrificial law. So like Paul's saying to these Pharisees, stop putting them under this sacrificial law. For one, Yeshua's done away with it now. We're set free from the law of sin and death. Now we are to follow the law of liberty. But secondly, this law of sin and death was never even for these guys. So what are you doing putting them under it? Like, you should be teaching them to keep the Holy Covenant because the Messiah has allowed these Gentiles to come into covenant with Yah. And that's what's going to save the Gentiles. Yeshua is a light unto the Gentiles because he opened up the covenant to the Gentiles to obey. And that's how they get grafted into Israel. So, that's just another nugget of wisdom for you people who do not understand the difference between the covenant and the sacrificial law. It is so vital that you people go and search and study diligently this difference. If you don't know the difference between the Holy Covenant and the sacrificial law, you will never ever understand the gospel. And I guarantee you that.